Hi, everyone. Welcome to a Podcast, episode 47, season 3 or 4. I lost track how many seasons we're at, boys, but we are back for another season for 2022. The first game for the Gophers is upon us this Thursday, August the 1st. September 1st.
August 1st.
My
There you
bad. Today is August 28th. We're recording this Sunday before the first game. But welcome everyone back. Today is going to be me, Jason, along with Griffin and Larranz. Say hi, you two.
Hello.
Howdy. Yeah.
And just a quick update of where we're at, because again we took a hiatus from last year. So I'm currently in the staffing world as my main job, working mostly remote, and my office is downtown. And segue that, I actually see Griffin sometimes downtown because he is back in Minneapolis.
That is very true. I, in late June, started my job with the Minnesota Timberwolves and Lynx in their box office. So I am back in Minneapolis, Eden Prairie specifically. So more of a hybrid schedule for now, but during the Wolves season, I will be downtown 5 days a week,
Nice.
plus games. So.
And as for me, I've begun my villain origin story
Oh no.
at the University of Wisconsin Law School. Anyway, so you know, Minnesota, if you want to come back at your boy with a full ride, you can do something. But until then,
Alrighty. All right. So we got Soup, who you guys met last time. Eli is gonna be a more recurring member to the podcast moving forward. He's out sick today, and then Wyatt is out with dinner plans with his current wife. So wish them happy dinner.
why do you say it like that?
I don't know, man.
This current life, like, what are you gonna get an Android updated?
No. I don't know why I said that, but going from there. So let's preview game 1 against the New Mexico State Aggies. Just a quick preview of our opponent this upcoming Thursday. It's gonna be at home at Huntington Bank Stadium. Our home opener for the season. The Aggies are currently 0-1 for the season. They lost at home to the Nevada Wolfpack, 23-12. Obviously, the big headline is they're coached by former Minnesota head coach Jerry Kill, who, as we'll get into a bit later, has still lingering animosity towards PJ and the University of Minnesota, obviously. To go on from there, I'll do some quick stats. During that loss, their first quarterback, I believe, is Diego Pavia. Had 3 interceptions and then 2 other turnovers, I think fumble or dropping the ball or something like that. And then then he got replaced at the second half with Gavin Frakes, who also had an interception but also had a touchdown, and was more productive. So in general, both quarterbacks and their entire team was 18-34, 218 yards with 4 picks and 1 tutty. Their rushing game, like Jerry Kill's offense back when he used to be in Minnesota, very run heavy, but they're only able to average 3.4 yards a carry out of 25 carries for 85 yards. Receiving was 18 receptions for 218 yards. And then their defense was all right, more or less. And I'm sorry why I didn't look into here's their kicking. They're 1-2 in field goals, 1-1 in extra points, and they only had 2 punts, long of 46. That's for Wyatt because he loves his specialist. But that's pretty much it for the Aggies. Is there anything I'm missing here, boys?
Well, can Country Jer lead them to respectability? I mean, I think that's the big thing with New Mexico State.
Wyatt. No, Larranz.
Yes.
Because if you want to talk one of the worst FBS football programs in history, they are definitely in the discussion.
I mean,
their last head coach had like 1 winning season in 9 years.
But I mean, I'm in a very odd space where it's like I feel like 2015 version of Larranz would be very much so rooting for Jerry Keel, and 2022 version wants him to be perpetually stuck at 5-7 in perpetuity, just so close, but never getting there. Like Scott Frost. Though apparently I overestimated them, and they only went 3-9 last year. So.
Now, bringing up Nebraska, I think one of their God was it? I think it's Isaiah Garcia.
Castaneda.
Yeah, he was a transfer for New Mexico State, wasn't he?
He was, and he was the only thing on that Nebraska team that I was like, well, that's scary. I think he had 4 catches for 130 yards, to which I'm like, ain't nobody gonna guard him? Nobody gonna guard him? Okay, cool.
Pat Fitzgerald was tempted as a linebacker to run out and just cover him one-on-one.
It's just like, somebody need to cover him because no one is. But anyway, yeah, New Mexico State is bad, and this shouldn't be a game. This should be an execution.
And I do want to go into the stats because here is from ESPN. Their FPI has the Gophers winning by 98.4%.
Oh, I thought you meant 98 points. I'm like, huh?
No, the FPI. So their FPI is heavily favoring the Gophers. As for the betting odds, so the spread is -36 for the Gophers. Over under is 55.
Here's some other stats from New Mexico last year. Since we're talking about stats, they were 127th in total defense.
Oh,
485 yards per game with an average of over 7 yards per play.
Oh no!
Yikes!
So that's total defense. They were 112th against the rush and 128th against the pass. But
this is a violation
on their offense. Last year, their sack leader only had 6 sacks, and no other player had more than 3. But what I think is interesting this year is their defense under Doug Martin at New Mexico State was a 3-4 defense. That was their base defense. This year, they are moving to a 4-2-5 defense. So they'll have four down linemen, 2 linebackers, generally inside linebackers, and then 5 DBs.
So they're going nickel.
Yeah, like one of those nickel linebacker hybrid things.
Yeah.
Which I think is going to be the most beneficial for guarding Minnesota, but obviously with the talent of their players versus the talent of our players, it'll still be a blowout.
Yeah. Do you think, what if they switch their entire defense just so they could be respectable against Minnesota?
That's possible.
I mean, when I look at this game, I wonder to myself, because we know how Kirk Shiraki is in the out of conference, we're gonna inside zone them 40 times a game, occasional slant passes. Maybe we'll get sexy and do one little out route to a tight end.
So Rutgers.
Hate crime. So, I just wonder for PJ Fleck, who has largely taken the high road in this entire thing. For example, I saw that Vandy won 63-10 yesterday. 63-10. And I'm just wondering. I'm just wondering if maybe PJ Fleck really wants some good reps for Ethan, you know, and maybe we keep doing it. Maybe win 63-3. I don't know, maybe something like that. I'm just saying this possibility. You know what I'm saying?
Because I will mention, we are returning a good amount of veteran presence on the offense. So let's start off. Quarterback. Tanner Morgan's back for his 6th and final season. On the O-line, only one returning O-line member, and that is center John Michael Schmitz, who's also taking his last year of eligibility with us. Running back, Mohammed Ibrahim, also coming back for his last 6th year of eligibility. Tight end, Brevin Spanford is still there. Receivers, Chris Ottman-Bell, Dalen Wright, Daniel Jackson, and then maybe many other guys behind them, because they not all three of them started together last year. We had some rotation of receivers as well. So we're coming with a breadth of experience on the offense, and the only thing that I'm concerned about on the offensive side is that we have 4 linemen that has not played together as like one unit, right? Some of them have started spottily in 2020 and 2021 last year. But other than that, we were bringing back pretty much everyone except for like the 4 guys in the O-line.
Yeah, I think the O-line is going to be these non-conference games will give us a good idea of like how we'll play in conference, because this Big Ten is very line of scrimmage centered conference in terms of if you don't have a good offensive line and you're going against a defensive line, like you're screwed. Like you got to be able to win the battle on both sides of the ball, whether it's protecting your quarterback or going after the quarterback. So I really don't know what to think. Yeah.
I mean, so like for me, I'm not. How do I say? I'm not nearly as worried about the offensive line, and the reason being is our best player is back. 2, everyone who's going to be starting on this O line is old. We old dudes, okay? Whether we talk at JMS in the center, but then who's our left guard? Probably going to be Chuck Biliaga, 6-year dude, ancient man. The only one who's going to be young is Ariante Ursary, who's a 3rd year at the left tackle spot, and arguably he might be our best offensive lineman in years. He's giving Rashad Bateman, but make him a left tackle. And then what? I don't even know who's going to be our right guard. Lynn Carroll, maybe? Who is going to be our right guard? I have no idea.
I am not sure.
Axel.
Okay, this
Axel Rushmeyer.
No, this is from Daily Gopher, from what they've been seeing from their practices. Ariante Ursary at left tackle, Axel Rushmeyer left guard.
Excellent.
JMS at center, Chuck Filiaga at right guard, and Quinn Carroll from Notre Dame, who transferred back to the U.
Cool, great. One of us at right tackle. Cool, I'll take it. Right? Or even if it ends up being Martez Lewis. The point is, our O-line is old. And another thing that I always want to mention is that on our offensive line last year, which obviously was very experienced, but like I keep saying, who were the dudes on that O-line who were irreplaceable? Daniel Falele, Mountain Falele, and John Michael Schmidt. That's about it. And John Michael Schmidt is back. Like, it could be arguable right now that Ariante Ursary might end up being an upgrade over Sam Schluter now. So I'm not particularly worried too much about our offensive line, because in a lot of ways, I feel that our offensive line last year wasn't actually as good as people think it was. Like, we were really good at being violent and running people over. but the versatility wasn't really there. And it showed when the Illini could rush 3 and harass 10 with 6-man protection. So that's my thoughts on the O-line.
All right. Going in from there, I actually do want to mention Daniel Faalele is now protecting Lamar Jackson's blindside. Right?
Wait, what?
I think he might be on the starting offensive line.
What? That's crazy.
I need to double check. I need to double check on that because I think Rashad and Daniel might make will make the 53 for Baltimore.
Well, from everything I've heard, Rashad Bateman has been doing Rashad Bateman things in camp, to which I'm so shocked. Oh my gosh, who would have thought that Rashad Bateman was really good at football? What? That's crazy.
And he won't use any of the talents because Lamar's going to run it for 200 yards a game. No, I'm kidding.
Apparently at camp, Rashad was pretty unguardable when Lamar was throwing to him because he's not as fast as Hollywood, but unlike Hollywood, he can run a full route tree and actually catch the ball. Not trying to be shady. I don't know.
All right. So going on to the defense, so the names that come to mind for me, again, I've been so out of keeping track of football stuff. Mariano Sori-Marin is back as the leader of the defense. Is it Justin Wiley is back as who was a true freshman cornerback who started for us last year, got that pick at the Wisconsin game last year as well. Seems to be blossoming pretty well into his sophomore season, so looking forward to seeing him on the field. Am I forgetting other key members?
Time.
Terrell Smith is still there in the backfield.
Jordan Howden as well.
Tyler Nubin.
Yeah, you don't forget about Nubin.
No. He was
Purdue,
the one.
Purdue doesn't forget about Nubin either.
Purdue can't forget about Nubin. But Thomas Rush, who quietly got 5.5 sacks last year when no one was paying attention.
Yep.
Oh gosh. I feel like he reminds me in a lot of ways of like Carter Coughlin. Like not in kind of in like his motor. Like I don't think he's physically as skilled as Boye Mafe, who is an absolute freakazoid. But like I think his motor is just like relentless, and watching how he is against a run is really. Oh yeah, and Braylon Oliver. I really want him to be healthy because he is probably the most terrifying linebacker. When he is on, he is absolutely terrifying. And I love that. I need more of that.
And I will note as well, Joe Rossi is still the defensive coordinator as well. So
shout out to the Bengals for losing the Super Bowl so that we got to keep Joe Rossi as our QB. Because Notre Dame was coming, man. I didn't want Joe Rossi to leave. That would suck. Continue.
But yeah, excited that Joe Rossi, essentially pretty much, in terms of staff turnover as well, is it, I might be blanking, but I think we fired or let go of Mike Sanford Jr. from OC and brought Kirk back, who was the offensive quality control assistant with West Virginia, which was funny was because when we got the bowl game against West Virginia, Kirk was like, WTF? So he had to sit out for that game for either side, but I think was it Matt Simon OC the offense, and I'm like, can we just give the reins over to him? But I digress. And then I think our tight ends coach Clay Patterson left as well to another program, and I think we may have lost a defensive coach. I'm not sure who. But I think
I'm pretty sure it was Chad Wilt we lost to Cincinnati.
No,
right?
Chad Wilt is at Indiana,
Oh,
and I think Joe Harris-Semiak is at Rutgers now.
as a DC.
yep, that's right.
Yeah, so we got two of our defensive coordinators last year are now, well, two of our defensive assistants are now DCs in the Big Ten, and we're
And
playing one of them. So
and we
that's
promoted Greg Harbaugh Jr., who was, I think, a quality control person with the Gophers, and he's taken over Clay Patterson's tight end coach.
Does he happen to be related to Jim and John Harbaugh or no?
apparently no relation.
Okay.
Yeah.
Got it. All right. But that is it. Anything else you guys want to touch on for going to game 1 here against the Aggies?
I mean, what else? I don't really know if there's much else to cover. You got the Gophers going against a high school team with a couple of experienced. Oops, did I say that out loud?
Ouch.
Why are you doing that?
Experience.
Y'all say that like we didn't lose to Bowling Green last year.
That's why I was trying to refrain from saying that because we lost to Bowling Green.
Now the thing is, I think Bowling Green would beat this team by 30, but I'm like, we make fun of Scott Frost for doing that onside kick. Y'all remember when PJ Fleck went for it on 4th down on our 20?
Yeah.
I remember that. That's all I'm saying. Continue.
But yeah, I think we pretty much covered everything. So you guys want to get into predictions?
Go for it.
So for game 1, Wyatt has his note saying we're going to win 33-13 on his optimist side. And I'm going to say 38-14. So I think the 14 is going to come from that PJ is going to put the second team defense or third team defense in offense, and that they're going to let New Mexico State score. But yeah, that's my prediction.
I kind of like Wyatt's prediction. I'm gonna go with 30-10 because I just obviously with knowing PJ, it's once you get a big enough lead, you kind of just want to run the ball and eat the clock and take away possession time from the other team. And so the Aggies touchdown is probably going to come in like garbage time in the 4th quarter or maybe like the end of the 3rd or something. And so I'll do 30-10, and because PJ doesn't really blow teams out. He just really doesn't do that. Maybe is this game the exception with what happened? I don't think so, because he usually takes the high road. So I'm just going to say that it's going to be a nice 30-10, 20-point win. We control the ball. We control the clock. It's just another one of those classic games.
I'm going to go with PJ's villain origin story and say we beat him 45-7. Honestly, it's not even a villain origin story because I watched some of the highlights of the Nevada and New Mexico State game last night, and I saw how New Mexico State's D-line was getting absolutely murked. And I think about who we have in the backfield, and I imagine it won't particularly matter if PJ decides just to run the ball at them for the last 2 quarters, because I don't think their front 7 can do anything.
And I do want to caveat that even though we mentioned Mohamed Ibrahim as our starting running back, who's 6 years already, Trey Potts is returning from injury. I forgot I mentioned Trey. Bryce Williams. Yep. And then behind them, I think I will say I was disappointed when we lost Kai Thomas and Bucky Irving to the portal, but we do have also some young guys behind them too that we know PJ and his staff will get up to speed to become Big Ten running backs.
Preston Jellin. I mean, we've all seen clips of what he can do. He's another little bowling ball kind of person that he may not be big and tall, but he can churn his legs like Mo and run you over.
And then just watching the spring game, seeing Zach Evans, and immediately being like, how did we get Zach Evans again? How did we get? Oh, wait. He tore his ACL as a junior, so no one saw him his senior year. That's why we got him. Yes. Because the way I've watched him play, I remember watching that one-handed catch he did in the spring game, and I was like, what? Okay, sure, great. Yeah, so the moral of the story is I don't think they going to. If y'all see Zach Evans, it's already too late. It's already too late.
And I actually want to put in Wyatt's notes outside of so winning obviously 33-13, but he will also say it will be a factor with like the Jericho Revenge Tour. He says Aggies won't be winning, but bad blood does go both ways, and Minnesota will be hungry to make that man eat his words.
What? If he gonna be hungry to eat his words, why did he predict only 30 points? Because if PJ really wanted to be petty, because you say he doesn't blow teams out, but like I remember some games last year. I remember that Maryland game. I remember that Indiana game. I remember that Northwestern game. He ain't have no problem blowing them out, and he likes those people. He really loves Pat Fitzgerald, and he blew his team right out.
Well, I mean, I guess he did, but there was even that one touchdown where it was like Northwestern just kind of gave up on the play because he didn't blow the whistle, and so they're like, I guess I'll just keep running. So at that point, Pat Fitzgerald's like, I'm more pissed at my defense than you can't blame a player for just trying to run the ball.
So I mean, after Jerry Kill's linebackers get hit about 15 times by Mo, and knowing Mo's track record, he gonna injure at least one of them. One of them linebackers ain't gonna make it. Like
he's gonna put his shoulder down like that in that Georgia Tech bowl game to that one DB, and he's gonna end for that game.
I was like, that man had a family, and I don't know if he survived that game. I've never heard of him since then. I'm pretty sure the funeral was right there. I think I heard his grandmama singing Amazing Grace in the background. He was gone. I'm sorry. I don't know that man. But that's where the thing that gets me is if Ethan comes in, right? So, like, say we're up 30-10 going into the fourth quarter. First off, whether it's Ethan, whether it be Cole Kramer, right? I don't particularly know why we wouldn't at least try. Try some passes, just get them into rhythm. Ethan's never thrown a collegiate pass. So yeah, just get them into rhythm. This is a team you can do it against, so.
Yeah, and I another quarterback too that I'd love to see if he can get some playing time in this year is Jacob Newth from Harrisburg, South Dakota. He's finally like a dual threat quarterback that the Gophers could definitely benefit from. I know with South Dakota highlights, he was very skittish in the pocket, but I still think it would be nice to see. I mean, I guess Ethan is more dual and Cole too, but I'm glad that we're not just recruiting pocket passers all the time. So I'm really excited to see these quarterbacks too. And like you said, whether it's Ethan or Jacob or Cole, just get the reps in against teams that you can build a solid lead against and do what you want.
I just want to see what we have, honestly. And the only thing that I'm actually curious about, because I'm not actually worried about the offensive line. I'm honestly worried about the defensive line, particularly the DT. DT spots. Like, I trust Trill. But like, from all accounts in camp, it seems that the defensive line has been playing the most physical that it's ever been played, to which I can't tell how real that is. And I kind of want to see it because we all remember the 2020 defensive line or lack thereof. So I definitely don't want that.
All right. So we just recap game one, preview game one. So we'll recap it following the game this upcoming weekend, and also, gentlemen, let's move on and preview the other games that Gophers have for the rest of the season. So I'm gonna go in chronological order here, and then we'll go each game one by one. So game two and after for like our win and loss predictions. So no scores, okay? So game one, New Mexico State Aggies. 2, Western Illinois. 3, Colorado. All three of those non-conference games are at home for us. And then from there, we open the Big Ten play with Michigan State at East Lansing. Following that, at home against Purdue. Then we have a bye week. After that, we are away for 2 weeks against Illinois and Penn State. At home against Nebraska. Away at Nebraska. No, my bad. Rutgers at home and then Nebraska away. Then last 3 games, Northwestern and Iowa at home, and then last game will be at Camp Randall against the Wisconsin Badgers. So
I'll be at that game.
Hey,
We'll come see you, Larranz.
Yes, please. Bring beverages.
I got you.
And Gopher gear.
Yes.
Alrighty. All right. So going to pretty much all 4 of us said wins for New Mexico State. So game 2 against Western Illinois, the Leathernecks. Wyatt is saying a dub. I'm saying a dub. How about you two?
Oh, dub for Western Illinois.
I've been to their campus a few times. It's ugly. So that's a dub.
Alrighty. Next up, game 3 at home against Colorado.
Dub. That Mike Sanford offense, who's ready for it?
I can't wait for them to run the ball 63 times.
And
can't.
do long developing receiving plays.
I can't wait for them to do 7-man protection with like 2 men in the round. I can't wait. Yeah, dub.
All right, next. At Michigan State. I think they're currently ranked in the preseason poll. Wyatt and I both said L's.
God, I really want to say dub, but Mel Tucker's a dog. Like, he's got that dog in him, and yeah, let's take an L.
I'm happy to be wrong and that we pulled out the dub out of our asses, but like I get the L from what I've been seeing preseason wise.
Yeah, I've been paying attention preseason wise, and I'm gonna take a dub.
Ooh.
I started to look at Michigan State last year, and I was like, how the heck did they end up 11-2? Because they should have lost to Indiana. If Scott Frost wasn't the coach at Nebraska, they would have lost to Nebraska. If all of Penn State wasn't injured, they would have lost to Penn State. And what's it called? If Michigan doesn't stop being stupid, they lose to Michigan. So I'm out here and I'm like, I think they were a 7-5 team that was buoyed by Kenneth Walker.
True.
I think that without Kenneth Walker, and they also lost 3 offensive linemen from an offensive line that wasn't that good, honestly. And they had the 110th ranked defense last year, and they still won 11 games. Like, for me, I don't think they have the depth to sustain what they did last year without a generational. Basically, I think they're Penn State without Saquon.
Are we able to change our answers like right before the game, or are we locked in?
Oh, this is locked in.
All right, I'll just take the L for now then.
Okay. All right. Next up, next is at home against Purdue. Why
Dub.
and I said dub. Okay. Tyler Dubin got their number.
Look, I say dubs.
Dub. Get this money.
It's that Nubin, the Nubin factor.
It's that Newman. It's that, yo, Jeff Brown, you know you can run an inside zone play every now and then. You can do that. It's not illegal to run the ball. Like, the sky isn't going to fall if you run the damn ball, Jeff. Anyway.
Another 60-yard touchdown by Crab. You know, we can just go on and on.
You know, Taylor Wright didn't even play last year against Purdue, so R.I.P. corners, many blessings. So
I'm just excited to see Purdue's DC just blow up on camera again.
I think that'll be hilarious. It's great television.
Alrighty, so next up, bye week, insta dub, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right, next up, we're at Champaign against the Illini. Why and I said dubs.
There's got to be a game every year where you just think, who's...
What do y'all say?
I'm scared, but I'm going to say dub.
I really want to say an L because Burt has never lost to Minnesota, ever. At Wisconsin, Illinois, he's never lost. They have either the worst or second worst returning production in the conference. But they got some dogs in the backfield. Chase Brown? That man averaged like 11 yards a carry against Wyoming. They were just like... In fact, I think he is the only running back that ran for 100 yards against our defense. Last year, the number 3 ranked defense. Eating us up. But it is after about... Illinois beating us. I'll take a L.
Okay. Alrighty, and then we are at Happy Valley against Penn State. Both Y and I said L's, but I will say in my notes here, I could see us pulling the dub, assuming it's not a whiteout. But
it is a whiteout.
Oh shit. Okay, never mind. I assume y'all taking L's.
I think often about that Clay's year when we played at Penn
State. What?
And I really, really just want to say L, but you know what? Let's just throw a dub in there.
All right.
I'd say we won by 20. Next.
Rutgers. Why did I said dubs?
Dub Nation.
Dub Nation. Next, at Nebraska.
Is Scott Frost fired by now?
His buyout.
Wait, say again?
His buyout to only like $7 million after October 1st. And I think we play them in November. So
yes, it's the first game of November, so November 5th.
Let's go dub.
Why and I said dub.
I was gonna say an L, and then I saw their defensive line get absolutely violated yesterday, and I said, Mo Ibrahim is going to absolutely.
Yep. All right. We're at home against Northwestern. Why? And I said Dubs, but I will say it's a coin toss for me in this game because Northwestern could play. So
Northwestern's defense in the game against Nebraska did not impress me like normal Northwestern you'd expect from a Northwestern defense. They still have Helsinki at QB. There's no standout QBs there. I'm going to trust our defense here and go with a dub.
See, the thing is, I think how everyone hyped up our offensive line last year is really supposed to be Northwestern's offensive line this year. Because I watched that offensive line, and I don't care who they were playing. That quarterback could have done his taxes back there. That quarterback could have played the Rouser back there. Like, I think we gonna win just because their secondary is Swiss cheese.
Now, let's not disrespect, Northwestern's what was it, Evan Hull, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
he's a Minnesota native, right?
I think so.
I believe so, yeah. And I just think he's going to be one of those running backs this year in the Big Ten where if there's one game this year where a running back puts up over 100 yards, it's against us, no question. I mean, I want to give credit to the man.
I've always said Pat Fitzgerald is literally the only coach in the Big Ten that I would trade PJ Fleck for. Like, I would take Coach Fitz. Like
Evan Hull, Maple Grove, Minnesota. Yep. He's a city boy.
Get
him on, boys.
I claim Minnesota residency, so.
All right, so Larranz, what are you giving this final result for?
I think it's a dub.
Okay.
I think it'll be a dub. It'll just be one of those dubs that we're sitting there the entire game going like.
Yep. Next up, Iowa. Wyatt said dub. I said dub. I think this is I don't know why I have this feeling, but I think this is the year that I think PJ finally gets out of the hump. Like, he's been losing straight to like Kirk Ferentz for many games, many years, and I think this might be the year. Kind of like how Jim Harbaugh with Ohio State, but that's just me.
I feel like I don't. How many L's do I have on my screen right now, Jason?
You have one.
Yeah, I'm just gonna let's take the L.
All right.
There's no way I can go 11-1 on this.
What? Well, that's a preview of the next game. Yeah, I'm going. Where am I at? How many L's do I have?
You're 2 L's.
You know what? Actually, I think we're going to take this one. We will lose the bell, but we will get the pig. And I think that is a fair trade.
I want that bacon.
I want some bacon. I'm hungry.
All right. Lastly, at Camp Randall against the Wisconsin Badgers. Wyatt said L. I said dub.
Look, Graham Mertz, he on his same shit. We going dub.
We still winning. I don't care. No, actually, no. I think we're gonna lose. I think we're gonna lose badly. I can't imagine Wisconsin's offense being as horrible as it was. Actually, no, screw that. We're winning. We winning. I let the Madison juices get in me. We gonna win by 10. Go Gophers.
I was scared where you were going with that, Larranz. So I'm not gonna lie. I'm sitting here like,
I was like, my blood alcohol content literally got raised just by being on campus. So like, it's not where it needs to be. So Yeah,
All
we
right.
winning.
So here's our overall records then. Larranz, you're saying we go 10-2. The two L's again are the Illini and Penn State. Wyatt says 9-3. The L's being Michigan State, Penn State, and Wisconsin. All of them are away games. I do want to note. For me, I said 10-2. The two L's being Michigan State and Penn State. Griff, you're 10-2. The losses are Michigan State and Iowa. But I do want to caveat. So Wyatt and I we're giving that's our optimistic view. But Wyatt said we can easily his alternative record is we could easily go 6-6. I said we can easily go.
Wow.
I said we can easily go 8-4. So you guys want to give an alternative? Like if you had to be very pessimistic and like if we actually don't perform like we should as a team.
Like barring
Like
hella injury.
Like not like last year's injuries and players missing,
man.
right? Yeah.
So like assuming we just play bad and it's not like injuries, I would say 7-5.
That's what I was thinking too. I just changed some 7-5.
All right. Cool. So that's our preseason predictions and short discussion. So next up, for our last segment for the podcast, we're going to go into some hot takes. Any hot takes, gentlemen?
Larranz, you look like you got something to say. You guys gotta let it out.
You go first, Griffin.
No.
Then you go, Jason. I
don't know if it's a hot take, but I think Frost will get fired before.
That ain't hot. That's coming.
that is the most lukewarm take. that is honestly.
You know, no, I'll change that. Jeff Brom is going to get fired from Purdue. I see.
What you talking about, Willis? Why?
I will say this. So he only had one season of going to a bowl game, right? So being bowl eligible.
No.
Or was that two?
No, his first season he went to a bowl game. His second season he went to a bowl game. He didn't go to a bowl game his third season. Last year, he only had one season where he missed a bowl game.
Was it? I thought there was more, but okay.
No.
The reason to say.
Oh wait, two. Yeah, there were two.
Because
one of them was
the reason I say like I didn't say when. I say he is gonna get fired. I think Purdue is gonna review everything. Be like, hey, you got the Illinois who got Brett Bielema improving. PJ and the Gophers are improving. Wisconsin, Iowa will always be Wisconsin and Iowa. And then Northwestern is being Northwestern. So I think Purdue may take that as a hint and then find a new and younger coach in that time span. So I think he gets fired or terminated or doesn't renew a contract. And then, yeah.
I said, like, he just got a first-round draft pick. They won 9 games last year, beat the dog crap out of Iowa and Michigan State in the same year. Like, and honestly, if you look up Purdue's schedule, if I were a Purdue fan, I would say there ain't no reason we can't go 11-1.
You want me
if you look up,
you want me to cap their game 1 this Thursday against Penn State
at home?
Yep, at night.
They could beat them.
Indiana State Sycamores.
Shout out Harry 9.
That's 2 wins. Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
Huh?
Put him. Anyway, 2 dubs.
Syracuse.
3 dubs.
FAU.
4 dubs.
Us.
If for some reason Tyler Newman gets hurt, 5 dubs.
Maryland.
6 dubs. Actually, no, I think they might lose that because I actually like Talia. Continue.
Nebraska.
6 dubs.
Wisconsin,
That's a loss.
Iowa,
7 dubs.
the Illini,
8 dubs.
Northwestern,
9 dubs.
Indiana.
Going blow them out. So, like, there's no reason just looking at the schedule that they can't go 10-2. Like, I would fire if they don't make a bowl game with that schedule. I would consider. But I'm looking at if Minnesota had that schedule, I would say we're going 12-0.
Yeah.
Because there's no game on that schedule that I say like Purdue cannot win.
No, you're right. But again, it's a hot take, and I'm just spitballing here.
That's fair.
Y'all got anything?
My hot take. I think if there's going to be a year that Kansas State makes a conference game, it's this year.
Oh, Nebraska fans would be in hell.
And here's why. Adrian Martinez is not the passer that Skylar Thompson was. But Adrian Martinez has Deuce Vaughn, who is an absolute menace, and you have a solid receiving core that Adrian Martinez can throw to. They didn't get blown out in any of their 5 losses I think they had last year.
They got like a top 10 O-line in the country this year too.
And I'm sitting there thinking, Kleinman knows how to fill his gaps.
Here's their schedule. So they open.
I think they're gonna go to the Big 12 game this year.
They open against South Dakota, then it's
No.
Missouri, Tulane, Oklahoma, Texas Tech.
At home? Wait, at home?
Oklahoma's still trying to find themselves, along with Texas.
Oklahoma at Oklahoma.
Probably an L, but we gonna see.
At home against Texas Tech.
Dub.
Away for Iowa State.
Dub, I don't trust Matt Campbell.
Away for TCU.
They lost Zach Evans. Lost Zach Evans.
And Gary Patterson is no longer the head coach there, too.
Yeah, he's at Texas now, which... Yeah.
At home against number 12, Oklahoma State. Then at home against Texas after that.
I don't know.
One of those dubs.
And then
actually, they could win both.
They could win both. Next is Baylor at Baylor.
Nah.
Away at West Virginia.
I don't think.
Or dub, yeah. And then at home against their further final against Kansas.
See, you know what I'm saying? Like,
I see it.
This could be a good year.
It could be, which actually leads to my hot take.
I love it.
That Chris Klieman is the head coach of the Nebraska Cornhuskers in 2023. Chris Klieman is going to be the head coach of Nebraska.
How do I spell his name?
I don't know. I know his last name starts with a K.
I think it's Kleiman. Or EINMAN.
Is that NESU's football coach?
No, well, he used to be, but he's right now he's Kansas State's coach.
Kleiman.
I just think that because the Deuce who's going to be loose is going to the NFL this year. Adrian Martinez will be graduating. His crazy left tackle who's going to be in the first round is going to be in the first round. That edge rusher that they had last year who had like 11 sacks, he's going to be gone. I just feel like with the Big 12 being a sinking ship, and Scott Frost being a fraud. I feel like Chris Kleiman is going to be the coach of Nebraska next year, and that is the second most terrifying outcome I think I can think of. The single most terrifying outcome is like Pat Fitzgerald's like, screw it, I'll go to Nebraska. Then I would be like, well, our new overlords are the Nebraska Cornhuskers. So, that's my hot take. What about you, Jason?
Oh, my hot take was the Jeff Fromm one.
Oh, yeah, never mind. Did Wyatt have a hot take?
Nope, not that I see on the notes section, but I think that's pretty much it. I think we
I
can
love
close
that we
this
were both
episode.
thinking about Kansas State, Larranz. I love that we were on that.
Ooh, fun fact. So, like, when I was at K-State getting this here master's, I went to this barbershop called New Kingdom Barber Ministries, amen. And guess who was also a client? One Adrian Martinez.
Hey.
To which I seen him and I was like, Dad, you look like you about to throw for 3,000 yards and rush for 1,200 yards. I feel like Adrian Martinez might be like almost in the Heisman conversation, and Nebraska fans are going to be in hell. And I love every minute of it.
Yeah, because I remember seeing Adrian Martinez when I was in Lincoln at a bar, and I'm like, yep, that looks about right. So there's the K-State Adrian Martinez, and there's a Nebraska Adrian Martinez.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I can't wait. Because people are like, oh, gosh, he's not a good passer. And I'm like, I don't know if you saw him running for his life all game, every game, all the time, with three-man pressures based off of that absolute trash fire of an offensive line. But I'm like, do you know what would happen if you gave him a competent running back
Or
and
offensive staff.
a competent offensive line? And now he's getting an elite running back, an elite offensive line, and a very good two elite coaching staff. And I'm like, oh, is it going to be Adrian Martinez's fault? I'm sorry. Hey, I saw their new quarterback who was supposed to save the day throw 2 interceptions yesterday. Was that Adrian's fault too? Sorry, I really hate Nebraska fans.
I saw some of their tweets last night, and I was like, oh my god, I can't handle this right now.
Oh, it was the best thing ever. I love it. Their fans were in hell, and I was like, yes.
They were in hell, but a lot of them had free beer.
Hey.
Fair point.
Even if they're going through it, at least they were drunk.
Hey. I want to know if Nebraska, if their AD made Scott Frost take Spirit Airlines home.
He's going to be sailing the sea and hopes he finds America in 1492.
Oh, yeah. He's going to try to escape. He's going to try to find a spice trade to India to try to escape. And he's going to end up right back in Lincoln, Nebraska. And he's going to be like, damn it. He's like, I should have stayed in Stanford in 94. Oh, gosh. I'm a horrible person.
All right. Well, that wraps our 47th episode for OPA Podcast. So everyone, thank you for joining us for preview of Game 1 against New Mexico State and our preseason previews as well. But we'll see you in the coming days after Game 1. But if you're going to be at Game 1, I might be going. I'm not sure about Griffin. It depends if I can. I still work, so now I know why people don't like Thursday night games, because you work on Friday still. So I'll try to make it work. If not, I'll for sure be watching it from YouTube TV on my fancy computer.
I think I'm going, but it's not confirmed yet.
I'll be studying.
It doesn't have to be like that, Larranz.
But
kidding.
But it does.
Exactly like that.
It is going to be exactly like that. So I'm gonna be white. I'm just gonna be sending y'all notes. Really, it's gonna be dissertations, but close enough.
No, you're right. All right. So everyone, thank you so much for listening or watching the podcast today, and we'll see you next time. And again, I'm one of your hosts, Jason O, along with
Griffin Most.
Ron's guy.
and we'll see you next time.
Oh.
Oh.